press conference had become necessary following some abnormal happenings affecting the medical laboratory science profession in Nigeria. So that's why we've convened, so we can speak to the government and to the general public and raise alarm as pertaining to the danger that may happen if certain actions are not taken. On Thursday, February 15, 2024, the Senior Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the President, Mr. Ajuli Ngelale, in a press statement, announced that Dr. Babajide Salako, the CEO at Dialysis Care Center Incorporated, Houma, Illinois, USA, is the new chairperson, Board of the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria, MLSCN. We, the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, object and reject the said appointment because it is a breach of the law establishing the council. By all standards and the Act Cap M25, LFN 2004, also known as Act 11 of 2003, that created MLSCN, Dr. Babajide Salako does not qualify for such position. Section 3, subsection 1A of the law, Act Cap M25, LFN 2004, duly enacted by the National Assembly and signed into law by the then President of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, defined clearly the qualifications of who can be appointed as chairman of the Board of the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria. The law, Section 3, subsection 1A of the Act Cap M25, LFN 2004, states thus, Section 3, subsection 1, there is established for the Council a governing board, in this Act referred to as the board, consisting of, subsection 1A, a chairman who shall be a qualified fellow of the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria with 5 years post-qualification experience and shall be appointed by the President on the recommendation of the Minister from a list of names of fellows submitted by the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, in this Act referred to as the Association. Dr. Babajide Salako does not fulfill the above credential enunciated in Section 3, subsection 1A of the Act Cap M25 LFN 2004. We are therefore shocked at the brazen violation of the above section of the law without recourse to the list of names submitted by the association in compliance with the law in Section 3, subsection 1A to G of the Act Cap M25 LFN 2004, to the Honorable Coordinating Minister of Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. Despite the law, the well-known tradition usually adhered to for such appointments dictates that only a doctor must head the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, a pharmacist for the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria, and ditto for the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Why had a doctor been appointed as chairperson of the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria instead of a medical laboratory scientist? What is the basis of the shift from the law? What is the basis of the shift from the noble tradition? And why now? Who done it? We are aware that Dr. Babajide Salako's purported appointment as chairperson, Board of MLSCN, is not unconnected with his relationship with the Minister of State, Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, who happened to be his classmate and very close friend. Their photographs are replicated on the social media, in his LinkedIn handle, in his X handle, and in his Facebook, including the ones they took during the immediate past Yuletide time. Dr. Tunji Alausa is said to be a friend of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But this attempt by Dr. Alausa to appoint his friend Dr. Salako at all costs as chairperson of MLSCN is a step capable of truncating all the good intentions of Mr. President in the health sector in Nigeria. For clarity, the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria was established for the purposes of regulating training, practice, and practitioners of the medical laboratory science profession in Nigeria, pursuant to Act Cap M25 LFN 2004, otherwise known as Act 11 of 2003. Across the world, regulation safeguards patient safety and quality of service according to all known international standards. But Dr. Babajide Salako is not an expert in medical laboratory regulation and does not have any certification whatsoever in medical laboratory science. Fostering Dr. Salako on MLSCN and in a high position for which he lacks the qualification or experience is a sure step towards destroying medical laboratory testing in Nigeria, both public and private. AMSN position. We object and reject the attempt to impose an unqualified person on the council. And we invite all well-meaning Nigerians to condemn this gambit that will put Nigerian citizens' health and life at risk. Our appeal to the National Assembly. We call on the Speaker of the House of Representatives. We call on the President of the Senate. We call on the 109 senators of the Federal Republic. We call on all the 360 members of the Federal House of Representatives to investigate the appointment of Dr. Babajide Salako as chairman of the governing board of the MLSCN. The message conveyed by the purported appointment is simple, that the law made by the legislature and duly signed by the president can be disobeyed by highly placed government officials only to achieve personal aggrandizement. Our appeal to the Attorney General of the Federation. Accordingly, we are calling on the Attorney General of the Federation to guide the presidency, the coordinating Minister of Health, and his Lieutenant, Dr. Alausa. He should guide them to avoid imposing an unqualified individual as chairman of the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria, as this will plunge the sector into the murky waters of controversy and catastrophe. AMSN appeal to Mr. President. We call on Mr. President, His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. We know him as a Democrat par excellence. We call on him and the entire presidency to urgently take recourse to the relevant sections of Act Cap M25, Laws of the Federation 2004, otherwise known as Act 11 of 2003, as referred above, and therefore correct, so as not to be seen to be deliberately undermining the law. We know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu takes exception to undermining the law, and we are very confident that he will retract this appointment. We appeal to Mr. President and hence the presidency to immediately retract the announcement of Dr. Babajide Salako as a purported chairman, board of MLSCN, without any further attempt to inaugurate him. Thereafter, we request President to investigate the circumstances that led to this violation of law, and we urge the President to apply the appropriate sanctions against those responsible for embarrassing His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his government. We hope that the above listed steps and plea will be acted upon to avert any further action of the association in seeking redress. AMSN ultimatum. The new AMSEN leadership is determined to promote industrial harmony, and we have taken steps in this regard by engaging constructively with the Federal Ministry of Health. Our plea here on the appointment of Dr. Babajide Salako is predicated on the interest of the rule of law and the avoidance of sexism in the governance and regulatory mandate of the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria. However, if this untoward situation is not redressed immediately, AMSEN will be unable to guarantee the availability of quality medical laboratory testing in Nigeria, both private and in the public health institutions. We call on all our members to remain calm, but to be on the alert for the next line of action. We are convinced that His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will do the needful in this regard. Thank you, and God bless. An untrained person, when you take an untrained person and you put him in the cockpit of Boeing 727, you know the outcome is a crash. An unqualified person has been appointed to regulate the provisioning of that service. There's no gainsaying the fact that the service will become corrupt and destroyed in its entirety. We're speaking from the point of law. We are not grandstanding. We're asking that the law be obeyed. This is the law in question. Medical laboratory scientists did not make this law unto themselves. The law was made pursuant to a bill of the National Assembly that became an act of the Parliament following the assent of the President. And the law is very old in existence. It is not new, and it has been fully operationalized even in this regard. So we are saying that insofar you cannot appoint an Army General to become Inspector General of Police because he does not know the act and the science of policing. And if you do that, the civil populace will be at the receiving end. An untrained person is in the cockpit, chairman of a regulation. You can be sure that quality of service will become grossly compromised and go into extinct. Again, our worry is that human life may go because they will be put at risk. Because regulation safeguards patient safety and quality of service. We're saying Babajide Salako is not qualified to be chairperson of the Board of Medical Lab Science Council, cannot provide regulation, and because he's going to be unable to provide regulation, patient safety and quality of service will become compromised. And we're absolving ourselves of any consequence arising therefrom. We are law-abiding citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We buy wholesomely into the renewed hope health agenda of Mr. President. We buy wholesomely into the 4-point agenda of the coordinating minister and the entire Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. And we are only raising alarm that this particular step will truncate all these lofty ideas. And we're telling our colleagues, because when things go wrong, there's what is called medico-legal issues, vicarious liability. With this particular step, things will go wrong in the system. And we are only protecting our members from vicarious liability, medico-legal issues. We are saying the law has been breached. When you breach a law, it's recipe for anarchy. Very much. If the president appoints you the IG of police today, will the DPO in your village still be able to carry out his function properly? If the president appoints me Inspector General of Police today, certainly the DPO in your village, the police standing at the traffic light near your house, will not be able to carry out his functions because command and control will be lost. Again, we are saying that this appointment is in breach of the law. Nigeria is not a pariah country. Nigeria is a country of rule of law. The law is clear on who will be chairman. Why didn't they do administrative appointment in Medical and Dental Council? I can head it. Why didn't they do the same mistake or whatever, administrative appointment in the Pharmaceutical Council? I can head it, at least I know paracetamol. So that is what we're saying, that lives, patient safety has become compromised by this singular appointment. We're saying that the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has become breached, and it is opening the window for lawlessness. This is a country of rule of law. This particular appointment refrained from the mantra of His Excellency, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whose buzzword is rule of law. We know him as a Democrat par excellence. We do know that this is an error, and he will retract it and investigate the cause.